All right, so video number 2. Gotta do Robbie. Always like Robbie's teams. He's always cooking up something. So yeah, kind of another team that waited, just like Justin went a little bit before Justin. So Justin waited for the 42nd nomination, which was James Cook, and then Robbie went with the 39th nomination, which was Garrett Wilson. Funny enough, Olave went to Justin at 39. Garrett Wilson went to Robbie for $35. So, what do we like, what we don't like? So, I think Garrett Wilson, gosh, he was really good last year when Zach Wilson wasn't the quarterback. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has to be a MVP Aaron Rodgers for Garrett Wilson to be really good. I just sang Olave's praises for Justin. So it's kind of like the same deal with his former Ohio State playmate, running mate, wide receiver mate. He was the 21st best wide receiver last year with just horrid quarterback play from Zach Wilson. Just truly awful. So he's a borderline top 10 wide receiver already, and that's not covering the upside. So I could see 90 catches, 1,200, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. I could see a monster season from him. I really like Garrett Wilson. I'm not going to go too much into it, but he's real good. I mean, there were a lot of good deals for wide receivers in this draft. I think Wilson's probably like a $50 player or so. So I think you got to, again, I'm not going to say a steal. There were big steals later. But I think he's a good player. I think that's he's undervalued. And starting things off, you probably wanted to wait to do that. So, yeah, good on you for getting Garrett Wilson. 2 nominations later, I'm the one who put him up. You're the one who took him, and I'm fine with that. You took Dak Prescott. Led the league in interceptions last year. Got Mike McCarthy as his head coach. Wanted to run the ball more. And he's your only quarterback. First time you didn't take a second quarterback to try and sell us on why that second quarterback is good, and we're all just like, nah, thanks. So, thank the Lord. We don't got to go through another year of you trying to sell us like Lamar Jackson and then being unhappy because no one wants to trade you the moon for Lamar Jackson. You got Dak Prescott for $3, so you got him for cheap. I think he's a back end QB1. Maybe this year he'll be better and he'll be like a top 10 quarterback. I'm not going to bet on it because McCarthy's now calling the shots. And while you might say, oh, but McCarthy did that for Aaron Rodgers, I think time has shown that's more to do with Aaron Rodgers and less to do with Mike McCarthy. It's rather foreboding that Mike McCarthy, the way he talks about running the ball. We'll put it that way. So I will say he has CeeDee Lamb. He has Brandon Cooks. Dalton Schultz is going to Houston, so not great. Still got an elite offensive line, though, and Tony Pollard. So all those things kind of mix in. He doesn't really run the ball anymore, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, he's, 30 years old now, so you're mostly hoping for him to just be good. I don't know if he's just going to be good. You're hoping for that. I can't account for, what is it? Yeah, he had 15 interceptions last year, and I don't even know how many games he played. He didn't play a full season, so I think he missed he missed 5 games last year and had 15 interceptions. That's a lot. Oh, man. Yeah, 18 weeks to 17 weeks, missed 5 games. He had more interceptions than weeks he played. Jesus. Okay, well, you're hoping for some turnover regression. I don't think he'll lead the league in turnovers. I think he'll give you a ballpark 20 points a game. It's not going to be great. Just based off regression, he's got to be better than last year because last year was bad. He was just bad. So if he can just keep the turnovers down and kind of just give the ball to his playmakers, he'll be fine. The $3 is, he's probably worth around at most $5, at worst $1. So getting your starting quarterback for $3 ain't bad. I didn't want him. So, yeah, I guess happy you got a cheap quarterback. Then we go to Josh Jacobs. So yeah, every running back in this draft basically was at cost. So do I think Josh Jacobs is worth $69? Well, if he has a season like he had last year, then yeah. Do I think he's going to have a season like he had last year? No. I mean, what is it? He had 340 carries and 53 receptions. So that's almost 400 touches alone. I don't think he's going to touch the ball that much. I think he'll have a good season, but I mean, golly, we had like 1,600 yards last year just rushing the ball. I think we're probably shooting for like 1,200. We're going to take a little less because we got to give him some breathing room. He's on the franchise tag too. So hey, at least he's playing for you. I mean, better than Jonathan Taylor apparently. So he can catch. Hopefully he doesn't miss any games. There's probably going to be some drop-off just because even though I don't really like Jimmy Garoppolo, he's more conservative than Derek Carr. I think they'll be throwing the ball more just based off the McDaniels offense. So I think he's a really good player. I think he'll be, instead of the number one running back in fantasy, I think he'll be a top 10 running back. Could he be a top 5 running back? Absolutely. We just saw it. He could be the number one running back. I just don't think he's going to get as heavy a workload. I think the Raiders will be more consistent. We'll say consistent with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if better is the word. I think they might be a little better. They might be borderline playoff team with Garoppolo. I got to see if he stays healthy, though, if I'm being honest. Yeah. You slightly overpaid for Jacobs just because I don't think anyone really thinks he's going to do what he did again. But then everyone mostly overpaid for like any sort of running back in this league. So yeah, you got a running back at least. You got a hero running back. Then we went cheap, $21. Pacheco out of Kansas City. He had a good year last year, especially for like a 7th round pick becoming the starter. So I think he handled like 60% of the carries. He scored like 5 touchdowns. I think he'll have a better year. I think he'll touch the ball more. I think he'll get more receptions. I think he's probably at least a $30 player. He's probably like an RB2 kind of flex-ish guy. So like top 25 running back. Maybe around 8 touchdowns, maybe a little under 1,000 yards. I don't know if he's going to get 1,000 yards just because Kansas City also likes to air it out. But yeah, as your number 2 running back, a little funky with Robbie's team. Not as deep, not getting like a ton of really good running backs this time. We're just taking a good solid guy. Not bad, not great, not bad. So like him, like Pacheco. Took some upside, took Christian Watson then. I think we took him, 64. So he used the 64th nomination. So he got him $17. I mean, he really, as you saw with Justin's team, he really broke out on the back end after week 10. So it's mostly about, is Jordan Love the real deal? Yep. Yes or no? Because if I'm being honest, I mean, I like Luke Musgrave, the tight end, but there's not a whole lot of like other weapons there in Green Bay other than the running backs. There's no real like other wide receivers you got to worry about. So yeah, it's Watson's gonna be in like the Devontae Adams, you got to feed him kind of role. Is he gonna get that much work? I don't think so. I think they're gonna be more run heavy with young Jordan Love, but I could see like 70 receptions, like 1,000 yards. We're basically talking like a Mike Evans kind of year, which Mike Evans is going to the Hall of Fame one day. So that's pretty good. Getting him as this is your number 2 receiver. So good player, really good upside as a young wide receiver. So Garrett Wilson, 2nd-year wide receiver. Christian Watson, 2nd-year wide receiver. Breakouts are rookie running backs, 2nd-year receivers, 3rd-year quarterbacks. So, yeah, obviously I like Watson. Um, yeah, I think he got him for cheap. If I'm being honest, he probably ought to have gone just on upside around 30. Then we took another second-year receiver. So you liked your rookies last year. You took another second-year receiver. You had Dotson, who I remember. I like Dotson. He had a decent year last year. I mean, it took him a while to get healthy, but over like the final 5 games, he was really, really good. He was like the 17th best receiver the last like 5 games or so. He's a breakout candidate because of that. How real is it? I don't know. I'm thinking like 850 yards, maybe like 5 touchdowns. So less touchdowns, more yards. I don't know what to expect because, I mean, I like Eric Bieniemy, the offense coordinator. I think the O-line's all right. I like the weapons. I think Ron Rivera's a little too conservative as a play caller for me. I don't know what to make of Sam Howell as the quarterback. He's like a 5th-round pick. I mean, granted, before he got drafted in the 5th round, I thought he was a 3rd-round talent. And I also thought if he had come out the year prior, if he was able to, he probably would have gone the 1st round. So, you know, he's got more talent than the average 5th-round quarterback. But I'm still not exactly sure that I buy him breaking out, considering this team is like run through like Ryan Fitzpatrick and we've run through Carson Wentz. And it's just like the same old story with Washington. Hopefully with new ownership, they'll actually like stop being so rudderless. But I don't know if Sam Howell's the guy. And if he's not the guy, then Dotson and McLaurin aren't really. Well, McLaurin will do something, but he's kind of quarterback-proof at this point. I don't know if Dotson's quarterback-proof. We'll find out. I think he's a good player. I think he's a starter. I think he's a good flex guy. But, you know, I mean, what? You paid $10? Yeah, good upside. I like the upside play. Then we took, 98th nomination. We took Brandon Ayuk for $12. It's rather under the radar. So here's a sneaky little thing that I noticed, which is why I had Ayuk as a player that I possibly wanted. Once Christian McCaffrey came over and Deebo Samuel did less running, basically ran the ball less, you know who the number 1 target was? That was a receiver. Well, it's not George Kittle. It's not Deebo Samuel. It's not Christian McCaffrey. It was Ayuk. I think he's coming into his own. Last year he had 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So basically, good, solid, gets his 1,000. Will he do that this year? I don't know. Again, we have Sam Howell in Washington. We saw Brock Purdy, did good things. Can he stay healthy? How healthy is he? How much workload is McCaffrey getting is really the question, because if McCaffrey's getting his usual workload, nobody else is going to get fed as much because McCaffrey just feasts. But yeah, no. I don't know if he'll be as good as he was last year, because I don't really know what to make of this offense. I think they're going to run more. But either way, I think he's rather under the radar. I think people underrate him because of all the talent surrounding him. But he's really good. He was, last year was like his career high in everything. Receptions, yards, touchdowns, everything. So I don't know if he'll reach that high again, but I really like him. I think he's the perfect kind of flex player. He doesn't have as much upside, obviously, as Watson and Wilson. But if he does what he did last year, then he's like a wide receiver 3, top 30 wide receiver, maybe better. And yeah, I really like that. I mean, good for you getting a player like that in, this late. So, yeah, I liked Ayuk a lot. He was someone that I was really looking at, and getting him for $12, it's a really good deal. That's a steal. I think that's a genuine steal. And that kind of rounds out like your starting lineup. So like after that, we took Antonio Gibson for $5. I prefer Brian Robinson Jr., mostly because I don't really trust. If Ron Rivera doesn't trust Gibson to run the ball in the red zone, then I don't trust Gibson to get the ball in the red zone. So, yeah, I think you kind of overdrafted him, and you were better off drafting Robinson Jr. I think he's a much better pass catcher. I guess in half PPR that's good. I don't know how valuable he is to you since he's not the starter and you don't need him as a handcuff. I suppose you can hang on to him and hope he gets the job, but I don't think he's going to steal the job because it's pretty clear Robinson Jr. is more trustworthy. Yeah, he's kind of low ceiling as long as Robinson's healthy, but Robinson goes hurt. Antonio Gibson's the better athlete. He's just not great vision, but better athletically, better pass catcher too. So they kind of complement each other. I don't mind it. He was cheap. I just wish it was the other one. I think you picked the wrong one. Then we got Cortland Sutton for 7, which that is just that's wild. Cortland Sutton would absolutely start on my team. Russell Wilson was really bad last year. Everyone is aware of that. I mean, the underlining analytics say he wasn't that bad, but he was still pretty bad. Jerry Jeudy's hurt right now. KJ Hamler is out for any amount of time. They had to cut him because he has something going on with his heart. Tim Patrick tore his knee again, tore his ACL. So, Marvin Mims Jr. they drafted in the second round, but really it's the Cortland Sutton show. And they hired Sean Payton, who is the guy who helped Drew Brees become a Hall of Famer. If he can't figure out Russell Wilson, no one can. So getting a $7 parlay essentially for a player to be the number one on an offense that loves to throw the ball, it's really good. If Peyton can't fix Wilson, it costs you $7 to find out Sutton's not great. If he can, then Sutton's got top 15-ish upside. So I think he'll be better than he was last year. I mean, heck, he only scored 2 touchdowns last year. Peyton's got to make that team better. He's just got to, because unless, Wilson's totally broken. But yeah, with Jeudy gone, we're going to find out real fast. But I think Sutton's real good. I've always thought he was real good. He's a really, really talented receiver. And they value Jeudy more than Sutton. I mean, I think they're wrong. I like Jeudy a lot. I thought he was the best receiver in his draft class. But I think Sutton has just been more consistent. He's been the better player historically. I mean, I don't know if he can, what's his best season? We got to go back. His best season is 2019 with 72 receptions, 112 yards, almost 1,200 yards receiving. So, could I see that happening? Yeah, that's in the range of outcomes, especially considering Sean Payton's there. And I don't mind taking a shot and finding out, because I think Sutton's really good. Right now, he's the 42nd ranked wide receiver, and I think that's really, really low. This was just Ayuk, and getting Sutton is just great. I think that's really, really great. $3 took another second-year receiver, Sky Moore. What is it? I mean, Kansas City lost a bunch of receivers, so Juju's gone. Kadarius Toney's always hurt. Sky Moore was a second-round pick last year, didn't do much. Maybe he'll get the ball this year. I was trying constantly to add him, and then drop him, and then add him, and then drop him. He didn't touch the ball much. I think he only got 22 receptions. So we got to be better than that. Again, we're taking a flyer. We don't really know. I like Sky Moore. I think he's a good player. Obviously, Kansas City's pass happy. Yes, we know that freaking Travis Kelce gets fed, but there's a bunch of unknowns. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who I'm starting, isn't really an unknown, but he's not great either. Let's be honest. He's never had 1,000 yards receiving ever. Rashee Rice is a second-round pick, just like Moore was. I don't know if he's going to learn the offense in time. Kadarius Toney's always hurt. Justin Ross is maybe healthy from back surgery. all these guys are kind of just like unknowns. So taking a shot on one, especially one that they drafted so high, I don't hate it. There's the possibility of him being something more. I mean, heck, that's why I was ad dropping him so much last year. I have no idea what he'll become. I know Kansas City loves to throw the ball. I just don't know who's going to be catching said ball. So, gonna find out. But don't mind the risk. It's not like it cost him much. What? $3? Yeah, $3. We took Zeke for 2. Oh, that's cute. So, Ezekiel Elliott, finally out of Dallas. We're in New England. Is he a touchdown vulture for Ramondre? I'm saying no. There is the possibility, though. They did give him some money. Not as much money as Dalvin Cook, but some money. He was not efficient, like, at all. He hasn't been, like, a top 15 point per game back since, like, we're going back at least 4 years. He's 28 now. He's more of a compliment. He's an insurance policy for Ramondre. I mean, I guess being on your team as a back-end running back's not bad. He's worth it for, like, the price. Would I like him better on Justin's team? Yeah. Will I hang on to him for long? Probably not. Because even if he takes the job, is he really going to do much with it? I mean, we saw him in Dallas. It was not great. He got, 230 carries last year and 17 receptions, and he still didn't break 1,000 yards. With both of them combined, it's not great. He looks old, slow, and fat. I like Ezekiel Elliott. He was great at Ohio State, but he just doesn't look, I don't know, maybe it's his time in Cabo. I don't know. He just doesn't have the burst that he used to have. He can still pass protect, and he can catch. I think he'll get you some catches. I just don't, he's kind of like a break glass in case of kind of back at this point. I think he's a good player just because of his intangibles and pass blocking and the other things he does. But I don't know how much that's going to help you. I guess we'll find out. But, I don't hate it considering the cost value. I'd rather go for upside. But, he's a good player. And then we took Zamir White. So we took the backup to Josh Jacobs. So we got our handcuff. Yeah, so White was looking real good in the preseason when Jacob was sitting out, and then he came back, and now he's going to play. I think, he's the best. He's your insurance policy. He did the same thing last year with Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison, so I definitely get it. I like White. I think Zamir White's a really good player. I thought he was a good player last year. He didn't do much, but I think if anything should happen to Jacobs, it's his job, and I think he didn't get that much work last year, and I think he really ought to because he's rather efficient. He's a big, tall, bruising dude, but he's rather efficient with his touches. So all of that's to say, boy, I made this one rather short after Justin's long one. What are we thinking, Dylan? What are we thinking? So, I mean, at this point, we know what Robbie's doing. Robbie's having, modestly good draft. Robbie's going to do, the right things by his team and try and get a pulse on the players and take some upside. And he did take some upside. Robbie, to his credit's always basically in the championship hunt. So, I mean, what are we talking, Dylan? What are we saying about possibly pushing for a title? I mean, yeah, Robbie has championship aspirations, no duh. I think, last year he came in third. Year before that he came in fourth. Year before that was 2020 and he won. Year before that, you came in fourth. So, you haven't not made the semifinals for, 4 years in a row? When do I have to go back? When did you not make the semifinals? You had a rough season in, 2018. All right? It's a while ago. So, I mean, I don't know if you made the semifinals actually a couple years ago just because of the standings. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is this. We know Robbie's always going to be in the title hunt. I think your team is good. I don't think it's the best team. It's not my favorite team. But that's okay. I usually don't like your drafts, to be honest with you, because you draft rather differently from me. But this was a very different draft for you and for, I think, everyone else because of the running backs. You didn't go RB heavy. and you didn't get a bunch of rookie running backs, and you didn't get a number 2 upside quarterback. Those are like classic Robbie things. So I think you'll still be in the championship hunt. I think you're still a top 5 team. I think Wilson, Watson, Dotson, Ayuk is a tremendous core. Pacheco's okay. And basically Jacobs is I think he's gonna be more of a guy, like a good guy, but not just a guy. Then he's gonna be the guy, the number 1 fantasy running back. But if he is, I mean, great for you. And I don't know what to make of Dak, man. No idea. It's weird to say you might need quarterback help at some point, but you might need quarterback help at some point because I don't believe in Dak. I just don't. I mean, how much more time does he need to show me that he's gonna win a Super Bowl? I don't think he's even been to an NFC Championship game. And by the way, he's had an elite offensive line his entire career. Like, look how good Jared Goff looks behind the Lions, and then give that to someone for 8 years of their career. Anyone would be good behind that offensive line. I'm sorry, that's the truth. Like, Baker Mayfield took the Browns to the second round of the playoffs and almost beat the Chiefs with an elite offensive line. So the fact that Dak has had that his whole career and he's done nothing with it tells me everything I would ever want to know about Dak Prescott, which is he's not that good. He's just not. He's all right. He's just decent. So maybe he'll be a back-end top 10 quarterback for you if he keeps the turnovers down. This was rather short. I just wanted to kind of just be like, see how the team is, what I think on it. But yeah, I think Robbie has a good team. I think the team's rather deep, a lot deeper than my team. I really like Courtland Sutton, and he's not even starting for you. And I am starting Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Deion Jackson. I am not going to beat you week 1, for sure. I'm for sure not going to beat you week 1. Yeah, you're going to be in the title hunt. You're always in the title hunt. So, but I think this is a good team. It's weird because it goes against your usual teams, but I think you also had to deal with like all the chaos of the draft. So I think you bounced. I think you did well considering what was going on, and you just kind of the fact that you didn't like stick to what you usually do was good. So good on you, Robbie. Good draft. Good team. I'll give you a B. Yeah, feel good about it.